I am struggling to write. I did a video a few weeks ago where I got up at 6 a.m. for a whole week and I got so much done. It was one of the best writing weeks that I've ever had. Since then, I've really struggled with my motivation to write and to get stuff done. I think this is because my ideas just haven't been there. I haven't had a real direction for the story. And I've definitely reached the middle of the book and hit that middle wall. I think another part of it is that I'm just a little bored with my story. I guess it's not that I'm bored exactly, but I don't know where to take my story, and that's really affecting my motivation to write. The good news is I've found ways around this. Some of it is just brute force, just pushing past the non-motivation stages. I think a larger part of it has been sitting down and figuring out what I want to do with my story. I think my real problem is that at the beginning, I was writing from an outline, and about 5 or 6 chapters in, I just kind of threw out the outline and started discovery writing. And it was awesome. I love discovery writing. And it seemed like a good idea to just chuck the outline out at the time. Because I was just having so much fun writing whatever came to my mind. It was really fun until my lack of direction just started to affect my motivation to write. Lately, to combat this, I've had to use a lot of brain power, and I've had to immerse myself in my story and think about how characters would react in different situations. And that's been really helpful. It's actually worked pretty well. I've imagine different situations, and these situations that I imagine sticking my characters in really get my creative juices going and get me excited to write again. I've noticed that this works really well if I think about my story right before I go to sleep at night, and my mind can work on it all night even though I'm asleep and it's all subconscious. I've awoken many times to have way better ideas than the ideas I went to bed with. And this has allowed me to improve on my ideas before I start writing, because my brain has worked on it subconsciously while I was asleep. I've also decided that it's time to come up with an ending for my story. I'm still working on that ending, but I have enough of it figured out that I have a real direction that I can write towards. And this has helped a whole lot with my motivation. Outlining a little bit, thinking about my characters, and moving toward an ending has been incredible for my motivation. It's helped a tremendous amount. But these by themselves haven't been enough. I've also had to sit down on days when I just didn't want to write and push past it and write anyway. Not every day. I don't think I could make myself write every single day that I didn't want to write. That'd be pretty incredible. I don't think I could force myself to do that. But forcing myself to write occasionally when I didn't want to has gone a long way for me, and I've been able to get a lot done doing that. Almost always on days when I don't want to write and end up forcing myself, I find myself loving my work by the end of it. And it's not that I love the words on the page necessarily, pretty critical of them usually, but I've found myself liking where the story is going. I think it's more of a realization that I actually did enjoy the process of writing, even though I started by having to force myself. I almost always end up with that satisfaction of having created something. It's what makes writing truly awesome, the act of creation. Creating something from an idea, or even just a seed of an idea, that's pretty awesome. It's another thought that keeps me going. I have stories to write, and if I don't write them, they will die with me. So I need to learn how to write them. When it comes down to it, though, I realize that if I really want to finish my current project, which also happens to be the first project that I've ever done, my first full-length novel, I'm going to have to push through my lack of motivation. It's as simple as that. I've noticed that the longer I go between writing days, the less interest I have in working in on my story. And that's just kind of, that can really snowball. And it can get away from me pretty fast. At least so far, though, my desire to write has always come back pretty quickly on days that I do write, even when I'm not motivated to do so. Because of this, I think it's going to be necessary to push through on days when I'm not motivated to write. Most importantly, I think it's a good idea to not let more than 1 or 2 days pass without writing. I think this will help a lot. Another strategy that I think will help is reading more. Reading was, as it is for many of us, it was my initial motivation to start writing, my initial inspiration. And I feel recently that I haven't gotten enough reading done, or haven't been reading as much as I should. And it's a great source of inspiration. On days when I don't want to write, I should at the very least read something. So read more, pushing through lack of motivation, planning out my next few chapters, preparing an ending for my story, and not letting more than 1 or 2 days go between writing days. These are my strategies for pushing through and overcoming my lack of motivation to write so that I can finish my story. Let me know in the comments below what you do to overcome your lack of motivation and how you push through the middle of that of your novels. And as always, if you like the video, please give a like and subscribe. It really helps me out.